Thank you for attending April Yoga with Noelle. Noelle, thank you for joining us and leading us through this practice today. We appreciate you hosting space for some of our members to come sit, connect, and move their body, especially in April, Autism Acceptance Month, where many of our community members, our team members, are experience increased stress, increased emotional demands during this month. It is nice to be able to have space to be grounded and be able to follow along. So I appreciate you doing this for us for 40 minutes and guiding us through. Pass it over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Brock. And thank you everybody for coming today. I know I need this. So hopefully you guys need it as well. So today's class, we're going to really focus on not so much fast movement. We're going tiny movements and a lot of joints stretching and relaxing. It's been noticed that when you're very stressed during this time, especially with Autism Acceptance Month, it kind of falls kind of our joints, and our joints kind of not solidify, but they can't move very well. And you might notice that when you have that tense feeling, like if you're sitting all day. So we're gonna focus a lot on that. Let me just shift the music a little bit down. Awesome. And so we're going to begin. So we're going to begin on a seated position. So if you have a bolster or maybe a pillow, just placing it under kind of your bottom, but not fully under the bottom. You just want to make it where it's kind of at your tailbone. And this in itself automatically makes your spine straight. And from here, we're just going to close our eyes for a moment and take a big deep breath in through the nose, filling the belly. Exhale. Once again, inhale. Exhale. Just one more time, just to fully calm yourself. Inhale. Exhale. And just here, we're just going to notice our body. We're not going to change it where it is right now. You're just going to notice. So keeping those eyes closed. Just checking in with your body. So maybe starting at your feet that are crossed under the legs. Are they feeling tense? Maybe cold, maybe warm. Just moving up to our legs. Asking those same questions. And if this is a very new thing for you, just maybe in your brain or maybe to yourself, like outspoken, if it's easier, just go, how am I feeling in my legs? How am I feeling in my stomach? How am I feeling in my chest? Am I feeling a little tight there? Or maybe it feels too exposed. What about my back? How's my back feeling? How's my neck feeling? How's my head feeling? Just taking a deep inhale. Exhale. How is my body feeling overall? And ever so slowly, we're going to tuck our chin in. So bringing the chin to the neck, kind of creating that double chin. This little movement actually makes our spine elongate naturally. So you might notice that little tiny movement of the chin tucking in, feeling a difference, whether good or unpleasant. That's okay. If it feels unpleasant, always remember to come back to that breath. So however you want to, deep breath. I know it helps me out to exhale very exaggerating, so with a sound. This creates our nerve in our body, so it's called a vagus nerve. When we make sounds or like humming motions, it actually relaxes the nerve. So when we exhale and make that kind of crazy, like maybe a wave crashing on shore, that's actually a very useful tool to stimulate your nerves and relaxing them. If that doesn't make sense in your mind right now as we're sitting and tucking that chin in, that's okay. I think the easiest explanation is imagine you're humming, massaging your internal body. Then from here, we're gonna actually bring our chin forward. So we're gonna bring our head off of our neck. Just for a moment, feeling that difference. And then once again, tucking the chin in. Then on our breath, we're gonna move that. So inhale, tuck the chin in. On our exhale, bring the chin forward. Inhale, tuck the chin in. Exhale, chin forward. One more time. Inhale, chin in. And exhale, chin forward. Just bringing our chin back in. We're going to just slowly roll our neck in the way that feels comfortable for us. So just ever so slowly, maybe bringing that right ear to the right shoulder, bringing the head forward, and then the left ear to the left shoulder, our head back. Maybe going with our breath. So on our inhale, our head's back, and on our exhale, we go forward, chin to chest. Maybe going the other way once we feel like we've got all those little joints to release in our necks, our nerves, our muscles. And since it's spring, I like to imagine this sequence that we're doing is like we are a plant in the seed. We're growing. We always believe that when we move fast and we go fast, just bringing our head back to neutral, so the chin in. We like to think in our society that we need to go fast. We need to constantly move to grow. But just like nature, and we just start at the seed and we're growing, we grow ever so slowly. And just imagining like we are that plant and that seed, we're moving ever so slowly just to release ourselves out of this seed. So bringing the shoulders up to the ears. Inhale. Exhale. Releasing. Maybe keeping the eyes closed and just thinking about you in that seed. You're just kind of shifting. We're trying to get out of this seed ever so slowly. We're growing for the new beginnings of spring, going towards the sun, but in our own time. And then from our shoulders, we're going to just roll our shoulders forward. So exhale, shoulders forward. Inhale, shoulders back. Just ever more pushing our seed walls away from each other. Bringing ourselves out of that. And even exaggerating your movement. So when you exhale and the shoulders come forward, we're going to round our back. And then once our shoulders go to the back, we're going to arch our back, chest forward. Inhale, exhale, round. Once again, just at our own pace. Maybe imagining our arms are like our leaves, our tiny little leaves, and we're kind of, when we go forward, we're going to kind of push our arms forward for a stretch of the arms. Inhale, bringing our leaves back, pushing to the back of the seed. Exhale, forward. One more time. Inhale. Pushing to the back of our leaves, chest forward, exhale, arms forward, rounding the back. And coming back to our seated, we're going to inhale, and on our exhale, we're just going to slightly do kind of a side neck stretch. So bringing our right ear to the right shoulder, and just placing our left hand kind of where our left hip is. I think it's an ever stretch. Maybe our head's like the little bud of the flower. We're kind of moving this. Coming back to neutral, doing the other side. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to bring our left ear to the left shoulder. Right hand to the right hip. Amazing. Coming back to our neutral. Now we're going to go into a seated side twist. So we're going to place our left hand to our right kind of thigh area. We don't need to reach too far. Otherwise, you're welcome to. There's no wrong way to do this. We're going to place that right hand kind of at our right hip. Inhale. And on our exhale, we're going to bring our gaze over the right shoulder, coming into a slight twist. I'm just doing one breath here. So inhale, exhale, maybe doing just a slightly bit more before coming back facing forward. And we're going to do the other side. So we're going to place our left hand to our left hip area, right hand to the left thigh. Inhale, straightening the back. Exhale, gaze over the left shoulder. Inhale one more time. Exhale, staying where you are or moving a little bit more. And releasing, coming to facing forward. Now before we move on, we're just going to do a couple more shoulder clenches and unclenches. So on our inhale, we're gonna purposely clench our shoulders to our ears. Hold, 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 and then exhale, releasing that. One more time. Clench, hold, hold, hold. Exhale, releasing. Maybe doing some little bit motion here. If there's any little nicks and crannies, there's just moving is essential for our joints and our body. So from here, we're gonna uncross our legs. We're gonna bring our feet together. And then ever so slightly, we're gonna just shift our body forward. So bringing our hands where our feet are and slightly trailing them forward, but ever so slightly. If you're not naturally flexible, just hold here. Or a fun fact is some people have hip bones that we cannot naturally flex to the way that we see yoga. So just ever slightly does a huge stretch to the back and to the thighs. You might be feeling it in the thighs. Just imagining maybe our legs are kind of like other little leaves. We're kind of already popped out of our seed. We're in the soil. We're feeling warm and comforted. But we're feeling more warmth higher up where the sun is shining. But let's round our back ever slightly. And then coming back to seated. But then we're going to move on to go into standing on our knees here. So like where I am, we're going to face forward on the mat, on our knees. And then ever slightly, we're going to kind of go into a little bit of a chest opener. So we kind of do want to feel our chest, even if it feels vulnerable. It's very good to open that area and releasing the muscles on our chest. So on our inhale, we're just standing forward on our knees. And then on our exhale, we're going to slightly kind of arch our chest forward. And just having our hands maybe to our hips here. Or if you can reach to your feet. But I recommend just starting with your hips. Just giving that pull back a little bit of a stretch and then our chest open. Remembering if anything is feeling uncomfortable or new, just remember the breath. Just inhale, exhale. And then coming back to the forward, we're going to move into a tabletop. So on our hands and knees, we're going to make sure our fingers are spread. Always remember that when we're on our wrists, keeping those fingers spread. And then having our knees level to our hips. Make sure that it's perfectly aligned together. We're going to go into a movement of cat and cow. So now we're bringing our hip joints and all that into it as well. So on our inhale, we're going to round our back, bring our chin to our chest, coming into that cat. Exhale, belly forward, gaze to the top of the mat. Arching. Inhale, rounding our back. And exhale. One more time. Inhale, rounding the back. Just making more room in the soil. Exhale. Stomach. So staying in this cow position, so our stomach towards the mat, arching the back, we're going to slightly open our hips a little more. We're going to shift our hips back. We're going to keep our hands where they are, forward, and you're going to bring the chest towards the mat, coming into what is called a puppy pose. But make sure when you're coming down, you drop your elbows to the mat. You don't want to have your arms outstretched. It's a bit too much on your shoulders. So keeping those elbows on the mat, we're going to come into this puppy pose. Remembering to move your body, maybe moving forward, moving back. We don't want to be stuck in a position because we're not creating that fluid movement. We have to continue a fluid movement. So even just little movements as it goes a long way. Okay, one more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Now coming back to our tabletop. Once again, putting our hips and knees in alignment. And having those fingers spread, we're going to curl our toes. We're going to bring your hips up and back into a downward dog. Remembering, moving the legs. Maybe even moving your legs into a plank, coming into a plank to stretch the leg. And then bringing the left foot forward, remembering it doesn't have to be right in between the hands. And then bringing the other foot forward. And we're going to come into a forward fold. So having our back completely rounded, going with gravity, bending the knees ever slightly. And from here, we're going to bring our hands to our knees and we're going to straighten our legs and then straighten our back, coming into a halfway lift. And exhale, once again, coming into that forward fold. And ever so slowly bring yourself to standing. But again, go very slowly, allowing our back to stretch. Until we are totally standing in a mountain pose. Now don't worry if you don't see me in the camera, we're going to come back down very quickly. But here, just roll our shoulders where you are, and then maybe closing your eyes. Just noticing now how your body's feeling. Maybe noticing a difference. Once you feel like you've kind of gotten an answer, or if you didn't, no worries. We're going to bring our gaze to the side of the mat. We're going to outstretch our legs farther than our hips, bending the knees towards our feet, coming into a goddess pose. Maybe bringing our arms up, moving our arms, imagining now we have grown roots. And now we're shifting ever so more towards out of the soil, going closer to warmth. Once again, moving in fluid, Then from here, coming back to that goddess here, we're going to bring our upper body forward, hands to the outside of the mat, coming into kind of a wide-legged forward fold. Just shifting back and forth our legs, making more room for our roots. And then from here, you're going to come back to that goddess pose, so bringing our upper body up. And then from here, you're going to slightly bring your feet closer together, but keeping our feet kind of facing on the outside edges of your mat. Having the knees bent, we're going to bring our hips down, coming into a squat or like a frog pose. And we might notice that this might feel uncomfortable, or if you're feeling any pain, I recommend you just to go onto your back for the time being. Or if you have a mat and you want this to be more relaxing, you place it under our bottom, like where our tailbone is, and just kind of sit in this squat position. Maybe just closing our eyes, remembering to breathe. Maybe envisioning what flower you are and how you're almost reaching the surface of the soil. Just realizing how far you've come just from these little movements. As us human beings, we need to always remember that even the small steps are the most successful. We like to think when we go, go, go constantly, that creates success and our true healthy nature. However, it's far from the truth, as we can tell from nature itself that, especially in springtime, flowers are coming out at their own times. They all look different, all unique, but they're beautiful nonetheless, and however they came to be. We are a flower in this world. Different, but all the same. We need to come out of the soil to be ourselves and be vulnerable and open. But again, it starts with how we're growing, which we slow ourselves down. And if the days ahead are bothersome, I encourage you to see nature. Go to a park, go to a forest and see flowers, and remember that you are just like a flower. You are unique and beautiful. From here, we're gonna bring if we're in the frog position, we're gonna shift ourselves forward to maybe taking that bolster out of her area there, and we're gonna kind of come back to that activated frog pose. So going on our feet. And now we're gonna shift ourselves. So putting our hips, like our bottom on the mat, we're gonna shift until we're lying on the mat. Just allowing yourself to exhale. Maybe when you do that, you might feel instant relief. Maybe move. Allow your body to move and release any tension. Then from here, we're gonna bring our knees to our chest. Bring our feet up to the roof or the sky or wherever you are. And we're going to come into a happy baby pose and just rock ourselves side to side. Or if it feels better, just staying where you are. Listen to your body. And just maybe closing the eyes and imagining that your legs are now the flower that bloomed. We got out of the soil, we're shifting out side to side. We're coming right out of the soil. Maybe imagining your color, your petals. And from here, we're going to straighten our legs, so bringing the knees in. And we don't need to straighten them fully. We just need to slightly bend our knees. Just having those legs up. Imagining that we're growing our flower in length. And exhale, release, placing our feet on the mat, keeping our knees bent. Then from here, we're going to place our hands where our hips are, right next to them. On our inhale, you're going to press into the feet and bring our stomach up, coming into a bridge pose. Remembering to squeeze your thighs together when you do this, so there's less strain on your neck. Exhale, unclench. One more time, inhale, clenching our thighs, bringing the hips up. And exhale, releasing. And then once again, having your leg on the mat, coming into a lying position. Now from here, having our eyes closed, vision like we're the roots to our flower.
Don't be afraid.
Stare up
The darkness is light.
at your length.
So don't you be afraid. When it comes the long night.
Just finally releasing yourself into the Savasana, which is the resting pose.
Have faith. Journey alone. If you don't know, the path is long. But if you try, you'll surely grow to heal past the sorrow that been keeping you low. You low.
As a song, we need to grow. But in order to grow, we just do ever so slowly movements. Or at times we just rest as we are right now. Your mind feels like it's already kind of going to other things, to the going and going and going. Remembering to do a deep inhale, exhale. Imagining you're releasing those thoughts out of your breath as you exhale. Breathe with as many times as you need to. Ever so slowly, we're going to bring our knees up, feet to the mat. We're going to shift those bent knees side to side, giving movement to our hips and our legs. From here, we'll bring those knees back, up, and then we're going to bring our knees to our chest, and we're going to wrap ourselves, kind of hugging ourselves. Just beginning to rock forward and back, forward and back. We're making a massage on our back until we come up into a seated. Or if that feels uncomfortable, you always just shift back into a seated. Once more, tucking our chin in. Or if you feel like you need to move or release any tension from an area of your body, do so. Closing your eyes. Maybe in our mind, we're imagining whatever flower we were, whatever color we were, that we're finally in bloom out of the soil and we're finally ahead for spring. But even if we are bloomed, if we feel like we've done our job or we've got there, remember that it's never the case. Always remembering your roots and ground. Remembering to give yourself the proper nourishment just as a flower does. Water. Maybe a storm will approach and shift ourselves. But remembering that we're always going to stand tall. I encourage you, as this practice has ended, always to bring your mind back to your flower. Especially whenever you're feeling stressed or constant going. Closing the eyes and remembering your flower. Just having a deep breath, remembering. Thank you for coming with me on this journey. And if you want, I would love to hear what flower you are, what kind of went in your mind. For me, it was a lavender flower. Otherwise, if there's any comments or feedback, let me know.